Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RealClearPolitics Takeaway for Wednesday, October 14th. I'm Tom Bevan, co-founder and president.
And I'm Carl Cannon, Washington Bureau Chief for RealClearPolitics. Morning, Tom.
Good morning, Carl. A lot to get to this morning. Let's talk about the hearings for Amy Coney Barrett entering their third day today. We had a full day of questioning by senators from both parties yesterday. What did you think of her performance and whether the Democrats were able to score any points against her or not?
Well, Tom, that's interesting. They're not trying to change minds within the Senate, let alone the Senate Judiciary Committee. You could, if you watch that objectively, if you've been reading about this, you didn't learn anything. You'd say they didn't lay a glove on her. She did fine. The Democrats, with a couple of exceptions, were more restrained than they were when Brett Kavanaugh.
Name names, Carl.
No, I'm not going to name names.
Who is not restrained? I'll name names.
Well, how about this?
Bazzi Hirono?
Kamala Harris hasn't changed a lot, and the senator from Hawaii, she has her own way of doing their questioning. But look, Feinstein was more respectful than she was, and the point is, what the Democrats are trying to do is scare voters about Obamacare, irrespective of how this vote goes or who's on the court. It seemed to me that they are trying to drive vote. They're trying to get people to go to the polls and vote for Joe Biden and Senate Democrats because they want to preserve Obamacare. And that seems to me, actually, as these things go, a kind of perfectly legitimate way to use these hearings.
Did you find it odd that Kamala Harris gave her remarks via video conference from her office 30 feet away from the hearing room and was sort of reading them? I mean, it seemed to me, why not just be in the room with the rest of the folks? I mean, is she that concerned about coronavirus, or is that just sort of a political, is she sort of virtue signaling to Democrats about that?
Well, it could be both, Tom, but here's the thing. Donald Trump was poised, he thought, to make a run at Biden. In our RealClearPolitics poll average, he was, 5 or 6 points behind Joe Biden, the president was. Then the president got coronavirus and behaved erratically about it, and then the lead went to 10 points. I think Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are thinking, okay, what could cost us the election?
Don't screw it up.
Getting coronavirus wouldn't help. So I that's an abundance of caution. I can't blame her.
So they can't stop this nomination. It doesn't look like they have the votes. As you mentioned, they're not even really, there's not a lot to do. Amy Coney Barrett seems to me very impressive. She sat there yesterday with no notes. Handled all the questions. She seems like she's completely in command. And so is there any reason to think she's not going to be seated as a Supreme Court justice before the election?
Well, look, she knows the law, and you're right. She's been an impressive person. She's clearly smart. She's clearly decent. She's what you'd look for on the court in another time and place, when we cared about qualifications and presence. I don't know. I think it seems to me the Republicans have the votes, but maybe President Trump will hold another super spreader event and get 6 Republican senators sick before they can vote. In 2020, Tom, I don't take anything for granted.
Fair enough. All right. The other news of the day, Carl, is this New York Post story that came out this morning. This is the Rudy Giuliani October surprise. A laptop was found. It was taken to a repair shop in Delaware. The owner apparently made a copy of the hard drive, which includes emails from Burisma executives, one of them thanking Hunter Biden for arranging a visit with his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, among other things. This sort of came out of the blue as far as most people were concerned. Apparently, Steve Bannon has known about it for a while. Carl, has this changed the nature of the campaign at all, or is this just another, October surprise that may not amount to much?
Well, this is our second October surrise, and we're
only 14 days in, so we've got a couple more coming probably.
That's what I'm figuring. This look in normal times and in a close election where normative journalism was being practiced and a more traditional person was in the Oval Office, this would have been a bombshell. Hunter Biden, until now, the American people, there's no evidence that the American people care about Hunter Biden. And I have a theory about that. Basically, it's that every family has a guy like this, and we don't blame the parents. We don't blame the siblings. Now, Hunter Biden stretches that theory. I mean, he's drummed out of the Navy Reserve for drug abuse, and it's not his first offense. He takes up with his brother's widow. He then knocks up a stripper in Alabama while doing that. He trades on his father's name in job after job after job.
Well, that's the only thing of consequence, right?
Well, right. But again, that's a combination of Billy Carter and Donald Nixon. We've seen that before. But this new thing brings it in to where it hasn't really been before, where Trump has been frantically trying to make it go to Biden himself, to Joe Biden. Hunter Biden, if this, according to these documents, isn't just trading on his father's name, he's giving access to his father from the people who he's getting money from, which is what Trump's been accusing him of all along. And it looks like there may be something to it. This is the first. Again, I don't know if there's any undecided voters out there. Millions of people have already voted. But if you were undecided and you were bothered by this thing would make you wonder if we're trading another, just politics as usual, the swamp, that whole thing that Trump ran against. Although he's with his kids in the White House, he's not the best ambassador for it. But it doesn't seem right. It doesn't smell right.
It does not, and I think that is something that the American people care about. But we'll have to see how this plays out. I mean, literally just broke this morning, so we'll see where it goes from here, and we'll see what other surprises lie ahead in the coming days and weeks. Let's leave it there. I'm Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of Real Clear Politics,
and I'm Carl Cannon, Washington bureau chief for RCP. This has been the Real Clear Politics Takeaway for October 14th, 2020. The 130th birthday of Dwight D. Eisenhower.